I'm pleased to say we're joined by the first Frenchman to play in the PDC World Championship, Thibault Tricole. Thanks for the time, Thibault. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm feeling very well, of course. And I'm over the moon. This qualification was a little bit unexpected. At the beginning, I only want to this tournament just to serve as a training for the Lakeside. Even if when I participate in a tournament, I want to go as far as possible, and win it. But it's so good for me. Yeah.
We put out a post on our social media. We were asking our listeners, because we're only 2 weeks away now from the World Championship, which players they wanted to hear from on our podcast, and a lot of them said your name. So it sounds like you've got a following not just in France, but it seems outside of France too. So what does that support mean to you?
Yeah, thanks to them. I think so. It shows that I'm respected. That means a lot for me, for a French person. For one, it's not the best sport in France, but I know in the sporting rivalry there is other sport between France and the rest of Europe. I'm thinking of England or Germany in particular. Yeah, it's encouraging for me, but also for French players in the future.
Definitely. Well, as this is the first time we've had you on our podcast, let's go back to the very start for you in darts. When and how did you first get introduced to the game?
I discovered darts at the age of 12 or 13, I don't remember really, but it was when I saw my father playing at home. And for the record, my father started at the age of 46. So I started just a year after him. So which means we start practically at the same time. Since then, I have never stopped to play darts. Even if I had to slow down, a few years later before, because of my studies and then my work also, yeah.
And you mentioned it earlier, darts is not the biggest sport in France. So before you got into the darts, were there any other sports you were involved in?
Yes, of course. I love all sport, but when I was young, from the age of 5 to 18, I played judo. I even finished black belt, and then I played a little bit football, but for a few years, but just to spend time with friends.
Very nice. Well, what was it then about the darts that got you interested in the game, made you want to practice and try and get better at it? You mentioned about your dad getting involved in the darts. Was it sort of like a family thing with you two playing darts?
I think so. When I was young, but I think I have predisposition, a certain innate skill. I remember at school I liked to throw a paper ball at the basket. But in France, we have a culture of skill games. We have a lot of skill games like pétanque, or palais breton is just it's like to throw pucks on a wood board. So I have always liked throwing something. That's why I quickly got catch and the fight. I start quickly to beat players older than me who had more experience, and so that motivated me to continue.
And one of your first trips over here to the UK for darts was to play in the World Masters. The first time, I believe, was 2010, and you just turned 21 years old. So what were those early experiences like, travelling around Europe to play darts?
Yeah, at the same time, I remember I joined the French national team. Between the World Masters, the Med Cup, the Mid-Term Cup, among others, I think so, maybe one Europe Cup, I don't remember exactly, but I discovered the international level. I thought I could perform well, but unfortunately, it was difficult at the beginning because I was under a lot of stress. I was young, so but
And so let's talk a little bit about the dart scene in France, because when you first started playing as a youngster to how it is now, how has it developed since then? What have been the big changes over the years, I guess?
The peak of darts took place in 2000. With just over 3,000 licenses darts player in France. And then it dropped to barely 1,000 darts player, I would say 6 or 7 years ago. And now it has been slowly raising for 2 years. And now I think so we are 1,600 darts player now. But the problem in France, soft tip darts, I've done a lot of harm to steel darts. Until now, I think so there are almost 10 times more soft tip players than steel darts players. But now, for 2 years, the trend has been reversed. Steel darts they're on the rise.
Yeah, it's great to hear that the numbers for steel tip darts is rising again, and obviously a lot of people will have been following your progress over the last few years.
Yeah.
We fast forward to 2019, we see you go to Q School for the first time. You win some ranking titles in the BDO as well, and you qualify for their World Championship. Was it around this time you really started to think about a full-time career in darts maybe being a possibility?
Things weren't going very well in the company where I worked, so I resigned and set out on my own company as a landscape architect with the goal of reconciling darts and work more easily. And eventually, darts grew and took over my work. At the same time, I met just some French people who motivated me to travel abroad, and with a little financial help, that's out at the moment.
And one of those first titles that you won in 2019, I wanted to mention the Torremolinos Open. It's a tournament which has a special place in our hearts and for many of our listeners too. So for those who haven't played in it, what is it like?
It's also for me a special place in my heart, because my international career starts that weekend. So it was also a very important for me moment. While the weather at home in Brittany, I live in Brittany in France, during winter is so bad, like in England, the same weather. And I discovered a place where the weather is nice and good all year, especially during the winter. The all-inclusive, package form makes the stay very relaxed and comfortable. If I remember, I managed to beat a number of good darts players from Dutch English players, Dutch and English players. It was for me it was a great beginning. It gave me a lot of confidence. Until that moment, I underestimated myself when I played good players from abroad. And above all, a few days later, I continue with a final and a victory in the other final at the Greek Open. It was at the moment that I decided to continue the BDO circuit this year.
And we mentioned as well that year you qualified for your first World Championship. It was the last BDO one in 2020 at the O2, and you got through a close first game before losing out in the last 32. But what was that experience like playing on a World Championship stage for the first time?
And play on live on TV. I was stressed, but it was my first time for me, so I managed to win my first game against Montgomery, so it was incredible for me. But I think so. I liked the experience, continue the adventure. I remember at this moment, it was a good first step for me to develop the sport in France.
Definitely, and let's fast forward then to last year, 2022, and another big year for you. We'll start with the Lakeside, the WDF World Championship. This time you go in as the number 2 seed, and before the event we thought it was a very wide open tournament, but how did you feel going into it as one of those high seeds?
Normally, when you are seeded, you are pressure. You are under pressure, but I was in confidence just before the start of the tournament. I won some good tournament during the year. Finally, starting the tournament as a top seed motivated me to do well. I had the feeling to show that I deserve this place. That's why I play well.
It was an entertaining run you had that week at the Lakeside. Your first 3 games you had to battle back from behind to beat Sean Burt, Steve Hine and Andy Barton's. 2 of those matches go into a sudden death leg. Just how tense were those moments to be involved in when it came down to just that last leg to decide who was going to go through?
Yeah, it was very tight. I didn't want, at the moment, I didn't want to stop there. I remember I managed to concentrate and relieve pressure at the right time. I remember I let some legs to my opponents, but it's the right timing. I did the good thing. That's why I think so.
Yeah, that's right. And another deciding set follows in the semi-finals against Cameron Menzies, and you edge through to get to the final. What was it like waking up on that Sunday at Lakeside to play in a World Championship final?
I remember I didn't sleep all night. I was over the moon, but also very stressed before the final. I think that's why I finally fell for it at the end. But it was a very great experience for me.
Just fell short in that final to Neil Duff, losing 6-5, but it was a huge milestone, not just for yourself, but French darts as well, the first player from France to get to a World Championship final. So after that, how much attention did your run at Lakeside get when you went back home?
Yes, the media talk about it a lot. I remember just one day after the final, I was invited to La Chaîne L'Équipe, the main channel, sport channel in France, free and a free channel. So yes, it was a good first step. I was proud of my place. But it was also very hard to tell what happened to the media on several occasions. It was like, I don't know the sentence, rubbing salt in the wound. Yeah, but losing the final ultimately gave me a boost for the next. It was a good sporting and media experience for me.
Yeah, there was plenty more times we saw you on our screens last year. You qualified for 2 European Tour events, and you said after your debut that you can't wait for the European Tour in France. So next year we've got a debut in Switzerland. Is there any plans, any developments that you've heard about that we could get an event in France soon? No, for the moment there's nothing. I think so. Only the PDC will decide the right timing to come here and organize a PDC event, but I unfortunately think we are not ready yet. We are talking about darts more and more, but not yet enough, I think so, to fill an arena of 3,000 people. But I have good hope for the future. I think we should start by organizing exhibition. Until now, there are never no exhibition, but for me it's a personal project that I would like to implement soon. Well, there's no PDC events in France yet, but we have seen French winners of PDC events. You and Jacques Labre making history last year when you both won a challenge tour on the same day. How special was that day for both of you?
Yeah, indeed. It was funny to see two French players each winning their tournament on the same day. I'm not so surprised since I start performing internationally. It's funny, but it's motivated Jack to do the same. But that show, yeah, it's a good thing for France and for the French darts player. But yeah, it was a special day. We will give a lot of confidence for Jack for his Q school later. Not for me, but for Jack, yes.
Been plenty more milestones for you and Jack since then. You won another Challenge Tour title this year. Jack, we saw him go on and get that tour card at Q School, but for both of you teaming up to play for France in the PDC World Cup this summer, what did that mean to you to be on that stage together representing your country?
Yeah, we were waiting a long time for that. For me personally, I think a World Cup without France, which is a major European country, was a shame. But I can understand that we weren't there before. We didn't have the level, but when I saw certain countries having been there for some time. It was frustrating. Now I hope we stay there because the World Cup has good promotion for darts for the country, especially for France.
Yeah, and it was a great run that you and Jack had getting to the quarterfinals, making up for lost time not being there for the last few years. And for yourself, even without that tour card, you've had some experiences playing in the Players' Championship events last year, this year as well. So what's it been like to play in them and get, I guess, a taste of what life is like on that main tour in the PDC?
It's amazing. Yeah, especially at the beginning. I remember the last year I was like a kid in amusement park, theme park. I found myself playing with the stars I saw on TV. When I was young, or maybe later. Now, I'm better able to put the events into perspective. It has almost become normal to find yourself among them, but even if I still have work to get to their level. But it was, it's crazy.
Well, a couple more questions before we let you go, and let's get on to Ali Pali, because first of all, many people would have expected to see you at Lakeside this week, having qualified for the WDF World Championship again, but you and several others went to go and play in that West Europe qualifier to try and get to Ali Pali. Could you play in that event with less pressure, knowing that you had a World Championship to play in? How did you approach that day?
Even if the PDC, the PDC World Championships is much bigger, much more mediatized than the Lakeside, the proportion are not the same, but I think I will see on the first match, but I think I will play with less pressure because I will have the position of the outsider, except at Lakeside I was among the favorites player, even if the match against Leonard Gates was going to be difficult for me, but I don't have much to lose. I only want to gain experience, so it's good for me and for my future, especially at Q School next January.
And the final in that qualifier, you and Wesley placed, it was the Lakeside runner-up against the World Masters champion, and you win it 7-4, so you're the first player from France that's going to play in the PDC World Championship. And we've touched on it a little bit, the media attention that you've had in France. L'Equipe have been covering you. I've seen some of the big French YouTubers as well. You've had appearances on TV. So what have the last few weeks in particular been like since you won that qualifier?
The Rex was incredible. Some people send me during regional, local tournaments to play, took place France, the same day. And in the last matches, the tournament stopped because everyone had their eyes glued to the screens and dark connect. So I received a lot of messages than when I first qualified for the BDO or WDF World Championships. Until now, I have received a lot of requests, from journalists for interviews, for major national media. So we are on the right way to develop the sport in France. Last weekend, I even hiked in a film just to double, I don't know the word, double the main actor just for darts, just to play darts. So it's crazy for me.
Excellent. And in round one at Ali Pali, you've got someone that you've played a few times, Mario van den Bocade. It's going to be a debut for him as well, the winner to play the former world champion Rob Cross in the second round. But how important is it to focus just on Mario, not think about that potential matchup with a former world champion in the next round?
Yes, I'm going to play Mario, who is a good friend of mine. Maybe as a player, I know better. So I must not to show my emotion during the game. Not going to be easy. I just will try just to enjoy the moment. Mario is already a great player, so it will be very difficult for me to beat him. But I want to stay at Ali Pali as long as possible. So I'm going to apply myself as best I can. Of course, playing Rob Cross will be a good motivation. I never played him, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great reward for whoever gets through that one. And lastly, before we let you go, beyond the World Championship, we know a big goal for you is to join Jacques on the PDC Tour. So what would it mean to achieve that goal next month, win your tour card at Q School and help continue flying the flag for French darts, 2 players on the tour?
Yeah, the Q School is a goal, of course, but with the experience, I don't want to think too much about it. Yeah, because the years when I thought about it too much, I failed. So if I cannot do it yet. I still have plenty of opportunities like this year. We'll see, but I know that one day I will be there for sure, and that will mean that I will be ready. Because I know I still have a lot of work to do, but I don't want to get my tour card just for 2 years. I have to be ready to keep it. So obviously, I want to continue to shine as an international scene for me, and for me, I think so. This is the only way, to develop darts in France. So to have 2 players, it's perfect. And in the future, I hope we have more and more darts French players.
Well, Thibault, it's been a pleasure to get you on the show, talk to you about your career in darts so far, and wish you all the best for the World Championship, Q School, and what else is to come this year and next year as well.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you. It was a pleasure to spend time for that and to share my point of view. I'm sorry I'm not fluent in English, but I try to improve my English. But it was a real pleasure, and thank you for your support. Cheers.